You are on the rant couch where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one is for Joey Kostelik, who says, rant about sex. Your experience with it personally, whether it can be immoral or harmful if in the wrong context, and your thoughts on the idea that having sex before marriage is wrong. I've had religious people tell me that having sex for pleasure is wrong because you're simply using the other person for your own pleasure. I know this is incorrect, but I can't exactly articulate why. Well, I can articulate why for you. Because ideally, if you're having sex, you're both getting pleasure out of it. You're not using the person for your pleasure. You are pleasuring them and seeking pleasure for yourself. I mean, ideally, you're both trying to pleasure each other. Good sex usually comes when you both want the other person to feel good in addition to yourself. If you're the only one getting off, you're doing it wrong. Religious people are fucking weird. But the idea that having sex before marriage is wrong is completely fucking daft to me. That's just old world shit. It's just... look, the bottom line is that all of our puritanical ideas about sex made sense when they were made because we could not control STDs back in the day. And I'm pretty sure that's where most of the rules were bred from. It's like, when we didn't have safe sex guidelines, it's like, first of all, if you fuck, you're probably going to get somebody pregnant. And if you're not married, then that means that there's nothing binding you to take care of that child. So I'm sure there were a lot more women just getting knocked up and abandoned before they made that law. And, you know, if you are encouraged to have sex with anybody and everybody, which, you know, everybody's natural instinct is to do, you're going to pick up a bunch of sexually transmitted diseases, and that's not good. So, like, I understand why these ideas made sense at a time, and if you really want to make people actually do something, you have to put a primal fear of consequences in their mind, but we don't live in that world anymore. We live in a world where contraceptive and protection is commonplace. There's really no need, you know, socially to be afraid of sex anymore. Now, there are other emotional reasons that you probably shouldn't have sex with every random person. You know, and like, you also have to kind of examine yourself and what you value out of yourself in life. But like, I think there is something to be said for monogamy and like the emotional, you know, connection that you feel with somebody when you are sharing sex exclusively with them, and when you, you know, like, commit yourself to being a family and like, you know, keeping yourselves together and like making sex a part of your relationship that is, you know, unique to you. Like, there's definitely emotional connections that come from that can be gratifying and helpful to your mental state, I think. But like, yeah, ultimately, having sex before marriage is completely fine. Have sex with whoever you want. I don't give a shit. I don't think, you know, now, can sex be immoral or harmful in the wrong context? Well, obviously, rape, immoral and harmful. Don't have sex with people who don't want to have sex with you without their permission. It tends to cause them emotional trauma, scarring, you know, damage their body probably. So yeah, not a good idea to do that. And you also shouldn't have sex with people who are too young to really be making their own decisions. Like, you should have sex with people who are old enough to understand what they are doing, the consequences of their actions. Generally, you should also, like, obey the law, because it's usually a good idea in most circumstances, you know. Having sex with a minor is a pretty bad law to break, because it's you can always get caught if that person decides to tell on you, you know. It's not a crime that's easy to get away with, so you probably shouldn't, even if you didn't have any moral reasons holding you back. But as for my experience with sex personally, well, I have sex all the time, every day, usually several times a day. I love it. It's my favorite thing to do. I can't say there's anything I'd rather be doing than having sex. I am a huge fan. I've only had 2 sexual partners. The first one was fine. Second one is amazing. So, you know, I've been on an upward trajectory when it comes to sex. It's only ever gotten better for me. What else is there to say about sex? It's fucking great. It makes me feel better. Improves my mood. Makes me more likely to work harder. Makes me feel like I've accomplished something. It gives me an endorphin rush, a dopamine rush. It's generally just makes me feel like my life is in a good place. Not having sex makes me not feel those ways. It's not like, oh, I'm depressed, I didn't have sex. It's just like, I don't feel at the absolute top of the world right now. Must be because I haven't had sex. I don't think there's anywhere else to go with this question.